lesson being on the 7th of December, the year 2021, and I have a different thing to share, and this is actually all about vectors, a topic that gets taken to be one of the hardest topics in mathematics, but to me, I do always take this to be the easiest topic ever. So I'll go and be able to actually use the following question to be able to actually introduce some concepts in as far as this part is concerned. And looking at this question, which is question number 34, it says in the figure below, OA is vector A, OB is vector B, and they say BX meets OY at C. Then they're saying ratio OX to ratio OA is 1 to 2, and ratio BY to YA is 1 to 3. So they're saying express in terms of A and B, Roman 1, vector BA, Roman 2, vector OY, and Roman 3, vector BX. Part B of that question reads, that was part A, given that OC is HOY and BC is KBX, that is to say vector OC is equal to a constant H times vector OY, and vector BC is equal to a constant K times vector BX. So the question demands that we get the values, or we determine the values of H and K. So this question came in 2019 paper 2 number 23, and I'm going to actually give a brief summary of what vector is all about before I can embark on this question. So this topic seems to have been invented, or actually been able to introduce to us by a scientist who is believed to have had a debt that he was supposed to pay, and on failing to pay, he could escape the person who was to pay the money to. So he actually took a vector. So you do not always use the right routes from a point to another point. You always take a vector. You have to rotate. We have to take another route away from the one that we are supposed to use, the straight one, from a point X to a point Y. So looking at this question, I'm going first to draw or make a drawing of that, then I can be able to arrive at the final answer. So I have this one as my diagram. This is going to be my diagram. So I'll first write vectors. Then when I'm done with that, I'm going to draw the diagram so that I can be able to use it. So this is my diagram. Great. So in this diagram, I have this as part A, I have this as part O, I have this as part B. Good. That's what we have here. So we have part A, that is part A, part B, then part O. Great. Then something else to add. We've been told that OA, vector OA, is A, and vector OB is B. So let me look first at vector OA. Vector OA. I'll draw something of this sort. So I'll use an arrow. So that's vector A. So vector OA is A. Can use this. Good. Then vector OB, this one here, I have to use this. That is an arrow. So vector OB is B. Again, I have to indicate using that arrow. So OB is B in that direction. So vectors have to actually take directions very serious. With vectors, directions have to be taken so seriously. Good. So that is what you have here. OB is B. Then they're telling us that BX meets OY at C. Let me draw first BX. So that means B has to go to this point. So I can put here X. This BX, BX, then OY. Good. So BX meets OY at C. BX meets OY at C, at the center, roughly. And something else to add. They have told us that OX to OA is 1 to 2. Look at this. OX is 1. then OA, the whole of it. So it's actually a bit tricky because they're saying OX to OA. That means the ratio of OX, the ratio of the whole vector, is 1 to 2. So that is obviously OX being 1. And now what is XA? The whole of OA is 2. So that means the remaining part is 1. So that OX is 1. But OA is 2. How do we get to 1 plus 1? You see? So if OX is 1, then OA is 2. Then the remaining part XA is 1. So that means OX is 1. Then OA is 2. Then XA is 1. Because 1 plus 1 is 2. That gives you OA, which is 2. If we come back here, we have BY to YA as 1 to 3. So BY to YA, that's direct. BY to YA is 1 to 3. So I'll write 1 and I'll write 3. So that is the whole information I need as far as this question is concerned. Then it gives me a way forward, of course, on how I'm supposed to work it out. So I'll come back to the question. The first part of the question reads, that's part A, express in terms of A and B. Roman 1, BA. So I want to get BA. How do I get BA? BA, that is to say, we are moving from B to A. And I told you with vectors, you don't use this route. So you have to take another route. You eat the vector. Unakula kona. That means BA. B, O, O, A. You see? So I'm going to have B, O plus OA. I don't say BA. Yes, I want to get BA. I don't use this route. I have to actually take another route. So I want to move from B to A, but I have to say BO plus OA. What is BO? If you go against the arrow, because this is BO, and I'm going against the arrow. So if I go against the arrow, I introduce a negative. But the whole vector is B. So I will say negative, then vector B. Then plus OA. OA. I'm moving from O to A. What do I mean? I'm supposed to use this. I'm using this as the whole vector A, which is OA. Then I'm going in the same direction as that of the vector. So I have just to say vector A. For the purposes of clarity, I can be able to rearrange these ones. So I'll go and say vector A, then minus vector B. That one becomes my BA. Oh, that is easier. So let's go to the next part. They want us to get OY, OY, OY. Good. So how do I get OY? Vector OY. I'm going to say OY is equals to, so OY. I want to move from O to Y. I can either say OA plus AY, or I can say OB plus BY. It is easier to say OB plus BY, although these two routes can give you the same answer. Good. So it's easier for me to say OB plus BY. What is OB? OB is vector B. Good. The same direction, no negative gets introduced. Plus BY. BY. You see, BY is a fraction of BA. BY is a fraction of BA. That is to say, BY is 1. So I'm going to say 1 over the whole, because I'm telling you BY is a fraction of the whole. So BY is 1, but the whole is 1 plus 3, which is 4, into. Good. So OB I've said is B, then plus BY. BY is a fraction of, and if I go back here, I have BY as 1. So 1 of the whole, and the whole is what? BA, and the whole ratio is 4. So I'll say 1 over 4 of BA, the whole. 1 over the total, which is BA. So 1 over 4 over the total. Good. So I'm going to say vector B plus 1 over 4 of BA. We got BA here. We have not to actually struggle again getting that. That is A vector minus B vector. Good. So I'm going to have B vector plus, I can open the brackets here. I have a quarter A vector minus a quarter B vector. I'll collect the like terms. We have B, then we have B as well here. So it's B vector minus a quarter B vector with its negative, then plus a quarter A vector. B vector minus a quarter B vector plus a quarter A vector. So B vector minus a quarter B vector plus a quarter A vector. So that is to say, it's the same as saying 1B minus minus a quarter. So this is like saying 1 minus a quarter. That should give you 1 over 4 getting subtracted from a whole number. So it is like saying 1 minus 1 over 4. 3 over 4. Great. So 3 over 4. Yeah. So this is same as saying 3 over 4 b vector plus a quarter a vector. Good. That one gives us the final answer in as far as OY is concerned. Great. So b minus a quarter b plus a quarter a. So it's like 1b minus a quarter b plus a quarter a. 1b minus a quarter b is 3/4 b. Then a quarter a comes our final answer in that case. So the last part is asking us to get vector bx. That's Roman 3. bx. How do we get bx? Vector bx. Great. Now I want to move from b to x. b to x. How do I go? I can either say ba or ax. I can as well say bo plus ox. This one becomes easier. Like this one here. I have to go against the arrow of AO again, you see. So I have to actually say bx. That is, bx is equals to bo plus ox. So I'll say bo vector plus ox vector. You're getting the point? So what is bo? I'm going against the arrow. You see? So that becomes negative. So I'll say negative b vector plus ox. What is ox? Ox. You see, looking at that, ox has a number 1 over. Then the whole of it, oa, I'll say 1 plus 1 because ox is a fraction of the whole. Because x is the midpoint, so that means 1, 1. So I'll say 1 over the total, which is 1 plus 1, which is 2, into oa, the whole vector, because I've used 2, the total. So I'm going to say ox, the one I'm looking for, 1 over the total, 1 plus 1, which is 2, then oa. Great. So I'm going to have negative b vector plus a half into oa. What is oa? And of course it is in the same direction, so we don't need to use a negative sign, and the whole vector oa is a. So I'm going to say plus a. Great. So I'm going to have negative b vector plus a half a vector. I can rearrange to put the negative in the middle. So I'm going to start with half a vector minus b vector. Great. That one becomes our final answer. Good. Thank you.